Good job. Thank you. Okay. Hello. Okay. Good evening. Okay. Mrs. Palomo.
Here.
Mrs. Guerrero.
Here.
Mrs. Gandhi. Mr. Hyatt.
Here.
Mrs. Jankowski.
Here.
Mr. Lalansky.
Here.
Dr. Miskowitz.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
And Mr. Cohen.
Here.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Just draw your attention to a few items on our agenda before we get started. This meeting is being held pursuant to Sunshine Law. That meeting is held in accordance with our Open Public Meetings Act. Statement on videotaping. Please note that all public portions of our board meetings are videotaped and available for public viewing on our website. Public comments, there will be two today, one in the first half of the meeting, one in the second half of the meeting, and this is pursuant to policy of the board 0164 and 0167. And this is occurring on school grounds, and the school has a policy, as well as the district has a policy of no smoking or vaping on school grounds. Please, that also includes outside as well as inside. So thank you, everyone. We are going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I understand we have some students here from Dugan who are going to walk us through or take us through today's Pledge of Allegiance. So everyone, please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and thank you to our students who are here tonight. I'm going to begin with taking an opportunity for a moment of silence to recognize and honor a former Marlboro Township public school employee, Doris Sherry. It's with great sadness that we recognize the passing of a valued member of our school community, Doris Sherry. Ms. Sherry began her service in 1980 as a school bus driver. From there, Ms. Sherry moved on to become the secretary of the principal at Marlboro Middle School, and then in 2002, she continued in that role at the newly opened Marlboro Middle School. Her many years of dedication, kindness, and service touched countless lives. She will be deeply missed. We extend our sincere condolences as a district, as in a board, and as members of our community to her family and her loved ones. So let's just take a moment of silence, please. Thank you all. Moving on to our first item on the agenda, Mr. Balone, Student Impact.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'd like to call up Mr. Pagliaro for the Student Impact and Recognition for the Frank J. Dugan Elementary School students. Mr. Pagliaro, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little background with us.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Balone, Mr. Cohen, Board of Education members, fellow district administrators, colleagues, and Marlboro community members both in attendance here and watching live on YouTube. We are grateful for the invitation to tonight's meeting showcasing our hardworking students and staff members who make such a difference. I am accompanied by Dugan's Vice Principal, Mr. Justin Lavoie, by three remarkable special educators, Ms. Curatola, Ms. La Femina, and Mr. Garrido, and by two of the best speech-language pathologists that this district has, Mrs. Sisselman and Ms. Portello. And as I look out into the seats here tonight, I also would like to recognize those from our supporting cast who are here for our students presenting to you this evening. I have our CST members, Mrs. Diaz and Mrs. Rogers, and some of our instructional assistants, Mrs. Rodriguez, Mrs. Lopiccolo, Ms. Paraswathi, and Mrs. Hermans. Thank you for being here. I'm honored to introduce to you an incredible group of students who represent a cross-section of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade LLD program, who with the support of Director Mary Elizabeth Sturchio, I know is here, thank you for your support, and our supervisor, Allie Mortar, in the Special Services Department. These students have been able to grow, flourish, and thrive as part of our school community. So at this time, I'd like to bring up our students and our staff members for tonight's presentation.
Okay, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. This year, we implemented a monthly social skills group for our upper grade LLD students to provide structured opportunities to develop communication, collaboration, and social emotional skills in a supportive and engaging environment. Within our LLD program, we consistently observed that many of our students needed additional support with expressing their thoughts, understanding others, and interacting effectively with their peers. Students with language-based learning disabilities often struggle with expressive language, perspective taking, social confidence, and problem solving within peer interactions. While these skills are supported throughout our school day, we recognize the need for a more structured, intentional setting where students could explicitly learn and practice these skills. We also saw that many students tended to remain within their own classroom groups, limiting opportunities to interact with a wider range of peers. This program was designed to intentionally bring students together across grade levels, providing them with meaningful opportunities to build relationships, practice communication, and develop confidence in social situations. Each month, students participate in a themed social skills session that includes a brief mentor text connected to a social emotional theme, a structured hands-on group activity, opportunities for discussion and reflection, and a simple shared snack. Students are placed in mixed groups across grades 3, 4, and 5, allowing them to build relationships beyond their own classrooms. At this time, we'd love for you to hear directly from some of our students.
In social skills group, we work with different classmates and learn how to be a good teammate.
During these sessions, students are actively developing communication and conversation skills, active listening, turn-taking, problem-solving, conflict resolution, positive peer language, emotional awareness, and leadership skills. We're not just expecting students to figure it out, we are teaching them and giving them opportunities to practice.
As part of our students' speech and language development, social skills are explicitly taught and modeled during small group speech sessions. Students practice skills such as turn-taking, perspective-taking, and appropriate conversational responses through structured activities and guided support.
These monthly social skills groups then provide an opportunity for students to generalize and apply those skills in a larger, more natural setting with peers and continued support from staff.
I learned how to listen to others and share my ideas when we work in groups.
I learned how to use kind words and take turns when I talk.
We have already seen a meaningful impact on our students. We've noticed increased interaction across grade levels, students initiating positive conversations and compliments, improved participation in group settings, a greater willingness to take social risks, and increased confidence when expressing their ideas. Most importantly, students look forward to these sessions and feel a sense of belonging within the group.
I feel more confident socializing and working with my classmates now.
I like working with new people, and I feel included in our groups.
Good evening, and thank you for having us. As part of the LLD team, I've had the opportunity to see firsthand how valuable this monthly social skills group has been for our students. These sessions provide structured opportunities for students to practice interacting with peers in a supportive and guided setting. We see students working together, communicating, and engaging in ways that may not come as naturally in less structured environments. The activities allow them to practice essential skills such as turn-taking, problem-solving, and expressing themselves appropriately with peers. One of the most impactful aspects has been the level of engagement. Students genuinely look forward to these sessions and are motivated to participate, which helps build confidence and encourages them to take positive social risks. We have also seen students begin to carry these skills back into the classroom through improved peer interactions and increased participation. Overall, this program supports the whole child, not only academically, but socially and emotionally as well. Thank you.
Social skills groups help us to be kind, work together, and be better friends.
So as we look ahead, we're excited to continue growing this program. We hope to expand opportunities to include our younger grade levels, continue building a sense of community across our LLD program, and incorporate additional life skills such as collaboration and real-world tasks.
I really love our social skills group because I get to be with my friends and teachers who care about me. I've made a lot of new friends, especially from other classes, and I enjoy working with them.
So in closing, we wanted to point out that Dugan's social skills program also aligns closely with the Board of Education's goal for supporting the whole child, strengthening social emotional learning, and fostering positive and inclusive school community. By providing students with structured opportunities to build communication, collaboration, problem solving, we are helping them develop the tools they need to be successful both inside and outside of the classroom. Our goal is to ensure that the students feel confident, connected, and successful academically, but also socially and emotionally as well. When students feel seen, valued, and connected, their academic confidence grows alongside their social confidence. Thank you again for your time and for allowing us to share this work with you here tonight. And at this time, we have a brief video highlighting the social skills groups.
Mr. Pagliaro, to you and your team, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for educating us on the importance of this program. If a picture tells us 1,000 words, just watching that video, seeing the smile on all these kids' faces, how they're engaged and how they're involved, you can see the value of the program, and listening to their words tonight. So thank you so much for sharing that. That really meant a lot to me, and I'm sure it meant a lot to the board members here.
At this time, we'd like to call you guys up for your certificates. First, we have Noah. Julian. Brianna. Leo. Ronan. Srinan. Paresh. Sienna. Esther. And Riley.
Ready for our work on display? Yep. Thank you again. Mr. Ballone, artwork on display?
Thank you. The artwork on display that was projected before the board meeting was provided by students at Asher Holmes in 3rd and 4th grade, and a write-up is in the agenda for you to read if you'd like. Moving on to staff kindness certificates.
Please.
So for those of you in the audience who are unaware, every regular board meeting each month we recognize staff members who go above and beyond. And this year, being that the board has agreed to use kindness as our theme, we call them kindness certificates. This recognition can come from anyone. It could come from a parent, it can come from a student, it can come from a colleague, really just about anyone in our school district who is employed here, who goes above and beyond, goes that extra mile. We know all of our staff members do at some given point in time. But in particular, they are, each month they are recognized in special ways. And I have to tell you, every month, it seems like we have a lot of staff members doing this. So that just is a testament to the hard work that all of our staff members do throughout the year. So the way this will work is I will read by school. The first one actually it traverses 2 schools, so bear with me. And then the staff member, when your name is called, you can come up here and you can stand and wait here and be embarrassed for us, and embarrassed for yourself while I read about you. And then also offer some time for pictures. So don't just come up and get your award and run back to your seat. Wait up here. We need someone to document it, someone in your school or one of your colleagues. So bear with us. So the first one, at the March 24th, 2026 board meeting, we had a student come up and speak at public comment. And this student recognized teachers from 2 schools. So from one teacher from the child's elementary school, and now that the student is in middle school, a teacher from the middle school. So we'll bring both of them up at the same time, even though they're from 2 different schools. So from Frank DeFino Central Elementary School, Mr. David Hatter, coming up, please. Thank you, David, for waiting there. And from this school, Marlboro Memorial Middle School, Mrs. Christine Bodsford. So as I mentioned, a student recognized 2 extraordinary teachers who made a significant impact on her life academically and personally. She first recognized Mr. Hatter from DeFino Elementary School as the best 5th grade teacher that any student could ask for. He always helped her when she needed help with math or didn't do well on a test. He turned her learning of math around, which was dramatically improved her math performance in 6th grade. He took the time to be sure she was able to get the extra help needed. He turned her fear of math into loving it. Thank you, Mr. Hatter, for making a change in this child's life. And now on to Mrs. Bodsford. Mrs. Christine Bodsford from Memorial has helped the student in her writing and understanding what she is reading. As a result, she is writing today significantly better than she has ever written before. Mrs. Bodsford always helps her students try their best, and for that, this student is grateful. She always teaches us in fun ways. Thank you, Mrs. Bodsford. Thank you both. Our next kindness certificate goes to Mr. Evan Young from Frank J. Dugan Elementary School. Mr. Young. This was an email from an MTPS family. Mr. Evan Young, the fantastic band teacher at Dugan, works so well with all the band students and does whatever he can to help them succeed with the instrument that they play. Mr. Young recently supported our child's participation in the PTO talent show by adapting and rewriting the sheet music for her chosen song to suit the oboe. Mr. Young's tremendous work and help in doing this made our daughter's talent show performance a success. We cannot thank him enough for what he did. Congratulations, Mr. Young. Thank you, Mr. Young. We had an email come in from a parent praising Mrs. Julianne J. from Marlboro Middle School. Come on up, Mrs. J. Julianne J. puts on such a wonderful performance every time. It brings tears to my eyes. She is always smiling and gives off such a positive energy to the students. She is able to manage so many teenagers, which is not an easy task. You can see how much the chorale group loves her and respects her. She is full of grace and elegance, and she portrays it to the students well. Mrs. J is a true asset to Marlboro Middle School. Congratulations, Mrs. J.
And, Mr. Blown, they are also going to Hershey this week, which they have been stellar competitors coming in with many first place awards in the past, and I know they're going to do the same this year.
No pressure. Okay, next up, we have multiple teachers from Robertsville Elementary School, and this is an email that came in from their principal, Mr. Giarratano. Mrs. Kristen Anchelowitz, Kimberly Georges, Jamie Jones, and Chrissy Tongring. Come on up. What a great story when I read this one. Robertsville planned an initiative to support kids who are fighting cancer and their families at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York City. Mrs. Tongring, Mrs. Anchelowitz, and Mrs. Jones researched and discovered that every Friday night is movie night at Memorial Sloan Kettering, a time for families of patients and the patients themselves to have a sense of normalcy and connect over a movie. These 4 dedicated staff members worked collaboratively with MSK and determined that a special part of movie nights includes enjoying treats. So, our school community donated over 1,200 boxes of treats for the children at the hospital. Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Tongring, and Mrs. Anchelowitz spearheaded the communication delivery and leveraged MTPS students to help with organization. Mrs. Georges worked alongside these 3 staff members, assisting in counting the boxes and ensuring that staff were supported. Her ability to support staff, take time out of her busy day as both vice principal and ESL supervisor was nothing short of heroic. These 4 women truly embody leadership, empathy, and kindness. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
That was great. Thank you so much, and thank you for those who reached out to sort of tell us these stories, because they're so important to all of us. With that, I'm going to suggest we take a 10-minute recess to give our chance for our families to take some pictures and for our families to leave if they would like to leave, and then we'll continue with our board business, but of course you're all welcome to stay. But motion to take a 10-minute recess? I see Mrs. Gandhi. All in favor? Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Belomo? Mrs. Carrero?
Here.
Mrs. Gandhi?
Here.
Mr. Hyatt?
Here.
Mrs. Jankowski?
Here.
Mr. Lolansky?
Here.
Dr. Miskowitz?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
And Mr. Cohen?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am going to take a look back for a second under our first part of our agenda, which was student impact. I wanted to just call back up Mr. Pagliaro. I apologize. There was a communication. We weren't reading each other's lips, but there was communication miss, and we wanted to make sure we give the PTA or PTO from Dugan an opportunity.
There's no apology necessary. Thank you. I just wanted to say, now that you've obviously had a chance a little early to hear from our Dugan students and staff, I'd also like to welcome up our Dugan PTO president, Mrs. Danielle Belomo, who will update you on the organization's contributions to the school as another part of our community. So, Mrs. Belomo.
Good evening, everyone. I want to just introduce two other members of our executive board. Unfortunately, everyone has already left, but we had a lot of our PTO members here in the audience tonight supporting our students as well. So I want to thank them all for coming out. But I have here my Vice President of Fundraising, Jamie Tamaro, and our Secretary, Robin Borenstein. So thank you guys for coming tonight. So it's really incredible to be here as the Dugan PTO president and to reflect on what has been an incredible 25-26 school year for the Dugan PTO. This year, we didn't just plan events, we built experiences for our students, supported our teachers in meaningful ways, and strengthened what makes this school community so special. From the very beginning of the year, we focused on bringing our school community together. We kicked things off with our playground playdate, a community get-together with sidewalk chalk activities, giving our kids a chance to reconnect, meet new friends, and walk into the school year already feeling like they belonged. That sense of community set the tone for everything that followed. Throughout the year, we hosted school-wide programs and assemblies that brought learning to life in ways that go beyond the classroom. Our students had the opportunity to explore, create, and showcase their talents through events like our talent show and science fair, where we saw their creativity and confidence on full display. We were so proud to expand our Battle of the Grades into a year-long initiative. What started last year as a shorter program turned into a full monthly competition, from finding mini dragons hidden around the school to showing off grade colors. We are wrapping up strong, and we love seeing students check the leaderboard as they walk through the main hallway. We also created so many opportunities for our students and families to come together and just have fun. Whether it was our back-to-school dance fiesta, trunk or treat, pieing the principal, and the teacher's float race at our turkey trot, or our Valentine's Day dance, where students created cards to show our teachers that they have a pizza, their heart. We loved every minute of creating these moments, and they are only possible because of the incredible support of our Dugan families who always show up. Our fundraisers this year were incredibly successful, and we are so grateful to the parents, families, neighbors, and small businesses who constantly support everything we do, from participating and contributing to helping us sponsor experiences like our in-school game show day. We are especially proud to be in our second year of a student-based yearbook committee, which truly sets our yearbook apart as a total student creation. Through our yearbook committee meetings, students learned photography, layout, design, and concept development, and our cover was even created by a student. We also worked to support our staff and teachers directly, whether it was providing classroom resources or funding initiatives that complement the curriculum, or simply making sure that they felt appreciated through small gestures or surprises. The Dugan staff works so hard for our kids, and the PTO is grateful for their collaboration and participation in all that we do. Behind this all is an incredible group of volunteers who consistently show up, step up, and give their time to make it all happen. From our board members to those who volunteer for school store, boutiques, book fairs, and more, we are so lucky to be surrounded by such a positive and dedicated Dugan community. I also want to take a moment tonight to recognize the two people who truly make the partnership work, Mr. Pagliaro and Mr. Lavoie. Your support, your openness to collaboration,
and your genuine care for both the students and the PTO make a tremendous difference, and we appreciate it more than we could ever fully express. Our work doesn't just stay within the halls of Dugan. We also took our efforts outside of Dugan, and through our commitment to community outreach, in September, we hosted our Heroes Among Us parade, recognizing our brave community heroes and donating hundreds of dollars to Tunnels to Towers. We also were able to adopt the Keensburg School District this year and provide all of their Christmas presents and holiday gifts, allowing our students to wrap the halls of Dugan and be able to wrap the gifts during their indoor recess. We are looking forward to celebrating our 5th graders and giving them a little send-off they deserve, and we cannot wait for Field Day, a day that brings so much energy to our entire school as we wrap up this incredible year. We can't wait to celebrate our amazing staff by bringing them the most magical school on earth during our Disney-themed Teacher Appreciation Week. We're especially excited to reveal a project that has been in the works for quite some time, a more than 40-foot wall mural that transforms our main hallway and leaves a lasting mark on Dugan. This is something that represents not just creativity, but pride in our school and everything it stands for. This year has been about impact. It's been about showing our kids that their school is a place where they are supported, celebrated, and inspired. It's been about showing our teachers that they are truly valued. And it's been about showing our community what is possible when people come together with a shared purpose, giving our Dugan Dragons the best 6 years of elementary school they could ever imagine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Balomo, and thank you to your team for really turning a school life into really a school experience in the Dugan community. Mr. Pagliari, we're good? Okay, thank you. No, my pleasure. Mr. Balone, we are up to announcements.
I don't have any announcements. I believe Mrs. Jelinski does.
Yes. Hi, thank you. There's 2 things I just wanted to talk about before we got to public session. The first one is regarding the preliminary 26-27 budget. It has been approved by the county. The county also expressed appreciation for the effort involved in developing the budget this year, particularly as this was my first year overseeing the process. The public hearing and the final adoption are scheduled for May 5th, the May 5th meeting. Second, I wanted to give you all information regarding an update on the HVAC project at Asher and Robertsville, as there's a resolution on tonight's agenda in regards to it. The Buildings and Grounds Committee met on Thursday, April 16th, and we did discuss some of the problems with the bids. There were 10 bids submitted for this project. Of those 10 bids, 2 were within the district budget. Unfortunately, both of these bids were not considered to be responsive and or responsible. There is a resolution on the agenda to reject all of these bids. The district, the architect, or the attorney didn't do anything wrong. The problem was with the bids and strictly with the contractors that submitted the proposals. We will be rebidding this project. It'll go out tomorrow if it's approved. And all of the contractors will have until May 8th. Whoever wants to bid can bid on the project. The scope of the project is remaining exactly the same, including the anticipated timelines for completion at this time. The pre-bid meeting will be on April 27th with the contractors, and the district will open the bids on Friday, May 8th in order to determine the lowest responsible bidder. We are looking to award this project on the May 19th agenda. So, yes.
I have a question. Can the ones that bid but weren't necessarily completed properly, can they rebid? Or
yes.
Is that, oh, they can?
Yes.
Do they know what's wrong with theirs? Or they
yes.
Just, okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Jelinski, congratulations on the budget.
Thank you.
That was, your first budget,
It was.
and, to get it passed immediately from the county, that's
Thank
great,
you. I
great
appreciate
success
that.
to you.
Thank you.
Thank you on our behalf.
So I have a question. So last meeting, we had come before the public, and we were so excited that we got bids that were under budget, and everything was moving forward and all of that. So can you elaborate a little bit more on what went wrong and where it went wrong? Or is that, because I don't know how we go from there to here. I mean, I know how we go from there to here, but I want to kind of discuss it.
Well, what happens is, we open the bids in front of everybody, and we, know the dollar amounts. And that was actually the meeting we talked about. It was the day we opened the bids. Then what happens is the bids go to the architect and to the attorney for review. And they go through all of the things that it has to meet, the criteria. And they both review it, and both the first two bids had defects in them.
So we say that we're still on time, but how could that possibly be if we're starting the process back to now accepting bids? And what makes us think that the bids are going to be any different? It seems like the scope of the project may have to change or something along those lines, or the budgeted amount if people are coming in underneath.
No, we're hopeful at this time that we will get.
What do we think is going to change? If we only got 10 the first time around, why do we think we're going to get more now that didn't apply the first time around?
I mean, we're hopeful that.
But what would change that would make them, if you didn't apply?
Right, the first two would submit the bids without defects.
So the defects are something that could be corrected?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Things they forgot, they omitted that they should have had in there.
And we foresee that happening? Have we spoken?
They know. They do know what their defects were.
Okay.
And then the other bidders, they know what they came in at, and they know now what the other bidders came in at. So we're hopeful that we'll have more responsive bidders this time.
Okay.
What does it mean, a responsible bid? Does that mean like free of defects, or is responsible, does that refer to something else?
Free of defects, and within our budget.
Can you give an example?
Oh, responsive is, right.
No, I think you said a responsible bid or responsive. I heard responsible, was I wrong?
I said both.
You said, okay. So what would a responsible bid look like? And can you give an example of what a defect would look like in a bid? Like, what do you consider a defect? Is that allowed to be said?
Yeah.
You want me to answer?
You can answer.
Okay. Well, we also have to be very careful about what we're going to be discussing in
Well, that's why I asked
public
if it could,
session.
yeah.
Right. So,
right.
But the technical answer to your question is bids have to be both responsive and responsible. Responsive means you have to be responsive to the bid specifications for all the details that are specifically requested in the bid. If you don't respond appropriately and correctly to all of the bid specifications, your bid could be found to be not responsive.
Mm-hmm.
That's one part. Your bid also could be not responsible, meaning that you haven't included certain things that need to be included in the bid with regard to your completion of the project successfully. So there's two elements to it. One is the responsive nature of it, and the other is the responsible nature of it. And you can see in the resolution, it does set forth those details in the resolution.
Other questions or comments?
Yeah, so if 8 contractors came in and said, and they were over our budget, and only 2 came in under our budget, and they were not responsible or responsive or whatever you call it, doesn't that make you kind of question the scope of our budget? Because we don't have any more money. We just don't have any more money. We drained capital reserve way past what we thought we were going to. I know
no, it doesn't. It doesn't affect that, no. Because
I want to finish my question because I understand what you're saying, Mr. Gross. As the attorney, we have to be careful what we say, but this is the taxpayers' money. So we also have to answer to them because this referendum, we went out for bids months ago. Now we're back to, we're going out again.
We didn't go out months ago.
How long ago? Because last month.
The end of March. The end of
months ago. So a month ago.
A month ago.
Whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Well, at the last meeting, we knew that we had responses to our bids. We knew we had 2 under budget.
That was the day that's the day the bids were submitted, yeah. The day the bids were opened was the day that we had the meeting. They had not been reviewed yet.
Okay, so a month ago. Okay, a month ago. So now we're going to restart that process, go out again, get bids again, have them reviewed again, go get to an architect
For May
again.
8th. It's a week away.
I understand
Well,
that,
you're making
Mr.
it sound
Gross.
like it's a lot of time. It's
Mr.
no, it's only a
Gross,
week.
you're not on this board. I'm sorry, with all due respect,
I'm
you're the
answering your
attorney.
questions.
I don't need my question answered by you. I'm just trying to speak to Mrs. Jelinski about a referendum that we told the taxpayers was under bid, and we have bids that it came in under budget.
And they did.
And now but they're not, it's not useful if they're not meeting the scope of the project. Right?
That's not what I said.
I'm sorry, but I don't think that's what you said. If I
I'm
understand
speaking to
correctly-
Mrs. Jelinski. That's
No
who
one's
I'm
talking to
speaking
you.
to. I'm not talking to anybody else.
What-
I'm speaking to Mrs. Jelinski, and I'm trying to understand, because before we voted on the referendum, I knew this was going to be a problem. We talked about it to death. We're here now. We have 8 contractors that came in over budget, 2 that came in under budget that we cannot use. They may change them, whatever else. What makes us think that these contractors that are coming in under budget are going to be able to do a successful job and not have problem after problem after problem if they can't even submit the bid correctly, first of all? But at the very least, 8 out of 10 are over the budget that we set forth for this project. So again, I just ask to know what's going to change, aside from the fact that they may fill out the paperwork again, but if they can't do the work that's in the scope of the project, you know, is that the contractor that we're going to use? Because this is just the lowest cost, not who's going to actually do a good job.
Well, the lowest responsible bidder.
Right.
So
Not
we're
who's
hopeful-
actually going to do a good job.
Right, we're hopeful that when we open the bids, that we will have bidders within our budget.
Just a quick question. Do you anticipate that this delay in the bid process or this correction will have any unforeseen delays in the actual work being completed?
It shouldn't. The timeline is going to be the same in the scope.
Okay, and with, I guess, historically, bid processes, have they ever been similar to this, where people have had defects and there was corrections that had to be made?
I've never experienced it here, but, I mean, I'm sure it's very common.
My husband does this for a living, and the bids all the time, and then they go back, they redo the paperwork, and they resubmit. Yeah, it's actually common.
And I don't think the paperwork errors correlate with the work that they do. So I think what you were trying to say, Mrs. Jelinski, is that now that the other bidders that were really high know what the actual low bids were, that we're hopeful that everybody will try to come at that level to potentially get the
Correct,
business.
we're hopeful.
So that's what we're hopeful for, so that hopefully
Yes.
we're not going to have 2, potentially more than 2 that will come in, and then we can have a pick from that. So-
Exactly.
Okay.
I just want to say that I've been on the board now going on 3 years. I've never seen this happen before in a board situation. And others I know that are on the board have never seen this happen before.
It happens all the time.
But never on this board. Never in my time here.
It happens all the time.
Never. I've never
I have
seen
no
it in
doubt,
3 years.
Mr. Gross, because, you just said it,
I've
Jenna,
been doing
husband
this,
is-
I've been doing this for 40 years in districts all over the state.
Correct.
It happens all the time.
Have you ever seen it here, Mr. Gross?
No, but I know it seems like I've been here for 30 years, but I've only been here for a year and a half.
I've been
Maybe
here for
2.
3 years. I've never seen. Have you ever seen it here, Mr. Malone?
And I'm not sure
Because
we've
you're
had,
laughing, but I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure we've
ever
had
seen
a
it here.
project this size since the time I got here, so I haven't seen anything like that, no.
I've spoken with my colleagues. This is a common occurrence, and
How common could it be if in 3 years or your 5 years or however long you've been here that we've never seen it? How common could it be here if we've all never seen it? Mr. Lansky said he's never seen it. I've never seen it.
How much
Other
work
board-
have we
I'm
gotten
just-
done?
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
haven't
saying.
had that many
Thank you.
projects
That's
of this
precisely.
size in a long time.
So we haven't had enough projects, really, for that to happen, so that's why
I don't
we
think
haven't
that's
seen
true.
it.
Again, Mrs. Gandhi, I'm not asking for your input. I'm just
I wasn't
talking
speaking to you. I was talking to Mrs. Jelinski.
Okay, please. Ms. Jelinski, can I ask you a question about timeline?
Yes.
So as I understood it from the initial bid that was done, the purpose of the timeline was that this was going to allow us to start some pre-construction work for the installation.
Correct.
But it was also going to begin the process for ordering the equipment, but the actual work itself wasn't going to start till next year?
Yeah,
Is that why you believe at this point the timeline's not impacted?
Exactly.
Because this was just pre-work that was being done in
Pre-work
anticipation of next year?
and ordering of materials. The electrical upgrades have to all happen, so we were never anticipating having AC until the spring of next year anyway.
I just want to say, oh, go ahead. So I'm looking at the public agenda, so I'm assuming I can talk about that. The bids received, it looks like all those bulleted points were reasons they were rejected, correct? Okay, so let's say it says here that any one of these things are fixed: unregistered subcontract, late wage failure to pay this, records obstruction, unregistered sub. If they fix this, I'm just wondering if we are still keeping them on a list of hiring them, because to me, if you got, even at your home, a contractor that had like a Yelp review that looked like this, would we consider hiring? So if they register the contractor, if they pay their late wages, it seems to me that maybe their reputation is not the best. Are we still considering hiring these people that have what seems to me like pretty big things?
When we receive the new bids, we will evaluate it the same way that we did the first time.
Well, I don't think, but
Well,
you
and,
can't.
and again, I'm going to repeat that there are certain things we shouldn't be talking about in public with regard to these bids, because...
I'm only talking about what's public.
No, you're talking about specifically what are we going to do in the future. And I'm telling you, we're not going to talk about what we're going to do in the future. What we're doing in public today is telling the reasons why we are finding that both of these bids were either non-responsive or non-responsible. That's what's on the public agenda this evening.
Okay.
Your question was not about that. Your question was
Right.
what happens the next time? And I said we're not going to get into that this evening because
Okay.
we don't want to put the project in jeopardy, correct? Do we want to put the project in jeopardy?
I don't want to put a project in
Then
jeopardy.
that's why I'm suggesting that we not
Okay.
talk about what we're going to do in the future.
How would the project be in
Okay.
jeopardy? Why would the project be in jeopardy?
We just want to keep the bidding process fair.
But I mean, we know that it's the lowest bid, that we've said that a million times. And so I think Kerry's question was just, even if they're the lowest bid, are we going to hire them with this nice track record of
Once we get the
infractions?
new bids, we'll evaluate everything again.
Using the
just
same
wanna-
criteria. We're just trying to, I mean, you went out on a ballot for a public referendum, and now you're telling our community and our taxpayers that trusted us to manage the money and the project correctly, that we don't want to talk about the project in public.
That's not what we're saying, no.
Because
Don't
you don't
put
want
words,
to
don't,
jeopardize the
please do
project.
not put words in my mouth. That is not what I said.
It's what you just said.
No,
You
it
said, I
isn't.
don't want to talk about the project, I don't want to
I know,
jeopardize
I
the
didn't say I don't
project.
want to talk about the project.
Okay.
I said I don't want to talk about what's going to happen in the
Doesn't seem very transparent to me, but
It
what do I
doesn't-
know?
We're not going to talk about what's going to happen in the future. That's what I said.
Why not?
For the reason, go back and listen to the tape. I just explained it 16 times.
All right, we have to.
Can I just say one
don't
thing? I just want
understand how
to wrap
you're-
this up.
Last
Yeah, last
comment,
comment,
and
yeah.
then we're
I just
gonna
wanted to
move
say,
on.
I think it's really important that as a board, we're responsible in the things that we say at the board meetings. To sit there and make a statement that, you know, we're trying to, we told the taxpayers it's going to be X amount, and now we're going to exceed that. That's literally putting the cart before the horse. We haven't had the bids yet. We're going to reassess them again, and there is nothing that's telling that it's going to be any more than what the bids came in at. So until these come in, I think we need to be responsible as a board and not put those scare tactics out there that, you know, we're going to go over budget, and I knew this was going to happen. I think that's extremely irresponsible, and I'm going to end with that.
I knew this was going to happen, and also, I am being responsible by telling the taxpayers in the community that I served, that elected every one of us, exactly how the project that was on a public ballot that they voted on is going in the schools that they fund. That's responsible.
Okay, thank you. We are going to move on to school bus driver abstracts.
We've received all the abstracts, and all the school bus drivers and the maintenance personnel have privileges in good standing. So
Thank you. Moving on to public comments.
I have one, Valentina Mendez.
Ms. Mendez?
Good evening. I wanted to address a couple of items on tonight's agenda. Some you spoke about. I understand that you went into that topic of the referendum, but I had a few things. The first thing, though, that I wanted to address as the community member at this point, but somebody who just recently sat there, is the fact that board members should be asking these questions and not subjected to retaliation or attack. I think that Mrs. Belomo and Mrs. Jankowski's questions were in line. They are right. I understand you can't say certain things, but then to see them attacked by people that we actually hired is really upsetting. And secondly, Mrs. Gandhi, for you to say that these board members should be mindful of what they say as board members is laughable and a joke. So you could address that because I addressed you. I'll put that aside. I want to address two items on tonight's agenda, though, that raise concerns around transparency, planning, and execution. First, under Resolution 7, the contract with AME for building management systems is being increased from a not-to-exceed amount of $100,000 to $150,000. That is a 50% increase. There's no explanation provided to the public for the change, no detail on scope, no clarification on what additional work is required, and no context as to why the original amount was insufficient. So my question, and please answer it, because I know we take notes and we say we're going to answer and then we typically don't, so let's not do that, please, is what specifically changed to justify the increase, and why wasn't that outlined here? I'm sure it's in the green notes for the board members, but they are voting on it, and I just was curious. Second, under Resolution 11, I know some of this was talked about. I'm going to read some of my questions. The board is rejecting the bid for the HVAC improvements at Asher and Robertsville. So some of my questions, and I believe you answered, but if your bids don't come in time or they aren't correct, will it delay the project timeline? I think you said no, you're going to vote next week, but if you don't get what you need, how long are you anticipating? And if there is a delay, are we at risk of losing or reducing the anticipated state funding due to any sort of delay? If all compliant bids exceeded the board's cost estimates, were those estimates aligned with the current market conditions? So are you doing a market analysis to say this makes sense? What steps are being taken in the rebid process to ensure that qualified and compliant vendors are secured next time? And what are the potential cost implications, if any, of rebidding? And are we expecting the project to come in higher than originally planned? They're not small issues. Thank you, Mrs. Belomo. It's about delivering the project to the community that we supported and ensuring it's executed responsibly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mendez. Is there anyone else for public comment?
No.
Does anyone else would like to speak? Thank you. Motion to close public comments? I'm sorry.
Albert Bruno, Technical Protect Court. Two questions about the bid. If, Mr. Wolonsky, I'm sure you did plenty of bidding. I'm sure you did plenty of bidded work, like, you know, in your line of business. Typically in the bidding process, the bidders vetted before they're awarded the contract. Why wasn't that caught initially? Because that's going to open up, you got everyone to show their price, and now you're going to go and have everyone re-quote it, giving, if there's a preferred vendor, giving them, you know, a big advantage here to get the job. You're really opening yourself up to nepotism. And number two, I don't believe we had to go with the lowest number because this isn't a professional service, if I'm not mistaken. Being a public job also, I would imagine it'd have to be bonded, so why aren't we calling the bond and just going to the second and third bidders? If it was the first two bidders that were ineligible, well, why isn't number three being awarded the project? I'm assuming everyone that submitted the bid submitted it with a bid bond, so they really shouldn't need to go out to rebid, no?
Brian, can I mention my name? I'm not there when they open the bids, but I don't believe you know who's in the bids until you open the bids, right? Correct? Till you unseal the bids, they don't pre-see it.
We open them in front of
I'm not there
everybody.
when they do it. Yeah. But different for me though, because we never had sealed bids in my line of work. We went out for estimates.
That's what we did. That's why we're rejecting them.
No, they're rejecting all of them.
We're rejecting all the bids, but the third bidder was not in budget. That's why we're rejecting all the bids. Yes.
It only works once per speaker.
All right, so what we're saying is the only two bids that were under what the anticipated budget were not credible bids. Like they didn't follow, is it because they didn't follow the specifications, they didn't have the correct insurance requirements, they couldn't provide bonding, like what was the issue?
It's in the resolution.
It's in the resolution.
The resolution lists the reasons why they were not, the bids were being rejected.
Okay,
So there's,
I'm just asking because I didn't read it.
Yeah, there is a copy, if you'd like a copy of the agenda, it's right there.
You could tell me too.
There's a long list of reasons here for various different reasons and various different respondents. So, failed to name, for example, failed to name a plumbing subcontractor, all right, or submission of the non-collusion
Failed to
affidavit.
name a plumbing subcontractor?
There's about 15 different ones.
This is an HVAC project. You guys didn't, you're winning bidder?
I'm sorry?
The company that submitted the winning bid failed to name a plumbing subcontractor on a project that's installing air conditioning?
I think, and I'm not going to comment on winning or not, but I don't believe any of them are winning bids since they are all being rejected at this time.
But you see what I'm saying, how simple it is to go not put a plumbing subcontractor on an HVAC job, and now you're going to go and ask everyone to go out and rebid after they saw everyone's numbers?
Hopefully they'll come in less. Additionally, just when the board went out for a referendum, there was a budget dollar amount. So it was no secret what the dollar amount was that the board thought the project was worth.
Was approved.
Correct. The referendum was $5 million.
Right.
That's public knowledge. So the bidders, a responsible bidder would know to look at that, and they would know what the board's budget is for this. So this isn't creating any more knowledge that people already have out there.
What I was trying to get at before, I was cut off by all different directions, is that when we were discussing that 5.2, several of us said there's no way this is going to be 5.2, and then we said, well, we're going to get the 40%, and then we didn't get 40%, and now we don't have any money left in the capital reserve. We all know that. Well, the people that sat and had budget meetings know that this project is taking us to the last dollar that we don't even know how we're going to replenish, and now 8 of our 10 bids came in over budget.
Correct, and we're hoping that.
So, but how does that not present a nepotism situation when every single person knows what someone else has already put in to pay, and then they're going to go back and come in $1 underneath the last bid? It just, we're giving them the information that they didn't have before and saying, okay, now go and see who could beat this competitor.
That's
but that's
public
not
bidding law.
I mean, some of these things, like Kerry had said, like, failure to sign an anti-collusion act is pretty big. I don't really want them in my kid's school.
We have to go on. Mr. Petruno, thank you for your, I know there's been some back and forth, but either your time is up, but I just need to.
Oh, I was just waiting for the answers.
We're going to close public comments, and then we'll see if there's any additional comments. I just need to see if there's anyone else who would like to speak before we close public comments. Please come up. Hi there.
Hi, my name is Blythe Dim, and I'm here on behalf of my daughter at Marlboro Middle School. And I realized that I sent an email right before the board meeting, so I don't expect that anyone's had time to review it at all. And Mr. Malone, I see that today as well at 5:04 you responded, and I do appreciate that. But where you're stuck at a standstill, and my daughter's home instruction has been cut off for 2 weeks, and I understand what the school is asking me, but I also understand that she has rights. And while this is being resolved, she is continuing to hand in her assignments while she is sick at home with zero contact. The school's teachers, I'm assuming, have been instructed to not communicate with me because they've gone from giving her the greatest praise, from giving the biggest effort while she's participating to the best of her ability at home. She's a straight A student, typically, with a 504 for anxiety, which has been increasingly growing from being cut off from school, and nothing benefits this child's educational process or mental well-being while she is cut off, while we resolve the dispute between myself and the school administration. And I know that Mr. Ballone's intentions are to help her get through the year, but nothing is helping my child by being cut off. And I request respectfully a response from the board in I'd like to say 72 hours, but I don't even know what's reasonable. I see that her home instruction continuation is not on the agenda. And I'm mom trying to get help for my child. Thank you. Also, her father and brother are standing here today in support. And I just spoke with Mrs. Rogers, and she said she would see what she can do to intercede on her behalf because she's been a fierce advocate for my son with his special needs. But she had no advance notice of the meeting, and I saw her as I was on the way in and on the way out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Dim. And I appreciate your writing to the board, and I appreciate you speaking today. And I did respond to you earlier this evening. And, you know, I know Mr. Balone is actively involved in trying to work with you on this. And, you know, would you like to do this here, or would you prefer to do it, you know, because there's student issues here, so I think it has to be private.
No, I completely agree, but she's the one losing right now. And I'm trying so hard to handle this as adults and not for the case. She needs to be included until we can resolve this dispute. Her teachers need to have a way to give her assessments so she does not lag further behind. And there has been already, you know, a history, as I included from before, with the administration, and I don't know if this is retaliatory or not, and I don't really care. I just care that she gets her education and graduates in June. She is beyond qualified to graduate and has worked very hard despite her illnesses, and there is ample documentation that something is wrong with our child, and we are continuing to work with doctors and have more specialists lined up, and not against anyone's advice at all medically. There is agreement that something is still wrong because every time she comes back to school, she collapses. And what to do about it is where the dispute is. And until we have a solid answer, she is still entitled to an education. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to respond. I don't need 72 hours. I know you, outside of my role on the board, you're a phenomenal parent, volunteer for our school district. I've seen you in the schools, and it hurts me to hear you up here saying that you've been cut off from the district, that you've given a lot back to. So I don't know the situation. I don't know any of the ins and outs of it, but I will advocate for you and your child to get what you need so that she can successfully graduate to the best of my ability up here.
Thank you so very much for acknowledging that, because I have worked hard despite my own physical disabilities to help in any way possible, because my children, our children, and all the children, their physical and mental well-being and their education. Those are the most important things. That's why everyone is here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Willen, we will, I assume that you will continue to do what you need to do to address this.
Absolutely. Yep, I even responded this evening.
Thank you.
Mr. Gross, can we discuss this in executive?
Yeah, we can't have a
Yeah,
detailed
not
conversation
public,
here.
but I'm just saying, yeah, just so
But
we
we
can
will.
get a response to Mr.
Dr.
Malone
Moskowitz,
and so forth.
I did actually, after we received the emails today.
Yes.
I did ask
Yeah.
Mr. Malone to make sure that the board is briefed today.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, anyone else like to speak? Thank you. Motion to close public comments. Ms. Gandhi, second. Mr. Hyatt, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. Okay, we are, I just want to, for a moment, Ms. Mendez. Ms. Mendez, I wanted to be responsive to your question regarding the AME, right? Because that's not on the details. The board is familiar with the details, but the public isn't, and I wanted to make sure that we respond to that. Can you please? Sure.
So AME Consultants or AME contractors, they do the building controls for our district. So there was a transformer that kind of created a large power surge at Marlboro Elementary School in March. And it did damage to a lot of the controls. AME is the company that needs to repair the controls. Bidding law says that if I'm going to spend more than $53,000 a year with a vendor, it has to be approved by the board. We use AME. The board had approved $100,000. Well, at this point, it's going to cost another $50,000 to get repaired. Insurance is going to be covering that, but I still have to approve the vendor because purchasing law requires me, the district is paying that vendor. I still have to follow purchasing law. So even though it's going to be reimbursed, we still have to increase that resolution in order to pay the vendor.
Thank you. Okay, we are up to communications.
I don't have any.
Thank you. Ms. Jelinski, you do have a referendum update here on the agenda. Did you already do that?
Yeah, I already did it.
Thank you. Superintendent's report, HIB.
Superintendent's report, HIB, for the time period March 20, 2026 through April 16, 2026, there was one incident reported.
Thank you. I will draw your attention to our meeting dates. Our next meeting is Tuesday, May 5th. I want to make a note that this has got an asterisk next to it because this meeting will start earlier than usual. It will start at 6 p.m. since the board will be doing some training from 6 to 7. And we wanted to make sure that based upon the topic and the content that, the public is aware that it's, it may not be right for students to be present or they may not want to attend, but we wanted to be able to accommodate the 6 p.m. hour for the training. May 19th is our next meeting after that, and then June 16th. Those will both be regular meetings. I'll move now for a motion to, to accept our minutes for the March 24th meeting, both regular and exec. Can I have a second for that? Ms. Carrero? Ms. Jelinski, would you please do, any comments or any questions or any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none?
Okay. Mrs. Belomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrero?
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes to the regular minutes, abstain from executive session.
Thank you. Mrs. Jankowski?
Yes.
Mr. Lalansky?
Yes.
Dr. Miskowitz?
Abstain.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And Mr. Cohen?
I abstain. I was not at the meeting.
Thank you.
Moving along to the next item, which is the acting board secretary's monthly certifications.
Yes, this is just, this is explaining the payrolls for the month of March.
Thank you. We're up to committee reports. I'd like to begin with our first one, which is Buildings and Grounds. Mr. Lalansky?
Yes, sir. Thank you. We met on April 16th. We had a really good meeting. We went over a lot of topics. Some we explained, like Mr. Linsky already explained tonight, but over the referendum. We discussed that in detail, so I won't repeat that. But I will explain some other things. The chiller over here at MMS, we're still dealing with the tree damage. We're having trouble getting parts. Parts are being delayed. We're also considering getting a portable chiller. It may be one of the options, and we're running that through the insurance company as well, Utica. All the claim for the whole thing is going through Utica. So we may have to have a portable chiller here sometime in June if we're not here, if it's not fixed in time. She also mentioned the JCPL transformer problem. It took out not only some H3 units, took out some door controls, took out some audio systems. That's also being run through our claims, our Utica claims. So it was some pretty good damage the last months. Direct install JCP&L, as presented in our last budget presentation, in Delfino, they're doing the 2 cafeteria RT units. Timeline is 6 to 7 weeks on that. In Dugan, 2 cafeteria RTUs, 6 to 7 weeks, and 2 additional rooms, 41 and room 42, 12 to 13 weeks. And in Old Middle, 1 RTU in the mini theater, which is a 9 to 10 week time to get it done. We're looking forward, it should be on our next May 5th agenda for the board to review and sign. Should be on the next agenda. You'll see that coming. Playground grant. We received our second grant for $65,700 this year, which will be added to the $88,000 grant we got last year, a total of $153,788. After consideration, the recommendation came back from administration. I know originally we were talking about doing Abbott first, but due to different student needs, and they can explain if you have any questions as well. Now recommending doing Marlboro Elementary. We had 2 quotes for the playground, around $150K, which is ballpark. We do have a choice of either doing a rubber pour for the foundation, or which is $105K, or mulch with mulch, which is $20K. The committee discussed that, and we don't see our budget anywhere near being able to afford $105K additional for rubber, which would be nice, but it's one of those things that's nice to have, can't afford. So the recommendation is going with the $20K with mulch. Just for knowledge, the rubber is $24 a square foot, wood mulch is $4 a square foot. They're doing additional quotes. They're looking for additional quotes to the township for the next playgrounds. They're also looking to use the pilot money, ask the township to use the pilot money to help fund playgrounds in the future, and we'll get a timeline from the township if that's possible going forward. That's what I have.
Thank you, Mr. Lalansky. Any questions for Mr. Lalansky and the committee?
I have several. For the mulch, you have a $20,000 quote. So mulch, I know from my own house, you need to replenish that almost. So what are we looking at as a yearly cost? Because a rubber playground, you don't have to replace. So if we're looking at $20,000 every year or every 2 years?
Well, that includes also the border. The mulch is $4
I
a
understand,
square
so that's
foot.
why I'm asking, what are we estimating the upkeep? Because mulch goes in shoes, it goes all over the place, it's massive cleanup. Is this something that you can collaborate? Maybe some of the organizations that do fundraising would be willing to pay for certain aspects of it. I'm not saying $105,000, that's a huge ask, but is this something that we can brainstorm? Because we're using the 2 grants that we probably won't get again to do these playgrounds. It just seems like if it's going to be close within 5 years, we're going to almost be at that 105. Maybe it's something to consider either can we hold the grant? Again, when is the student that has the needs that the playground is going to be facilitating coming to the school? Are these all questions that we can have answered and kind of look at the bigger scope of the project? Or maybe just doing part of the project?
Well, it's Morrell's whole playground.
It's the whole thing. So their playground is in 2 parts right now, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, so is there any opportunity to just do one part and then add on to it? I don't know, I'm just thinking about all different stuff, because mulch is a nightmare, especially for K through 5. I know some of the places, I don't know do any of the schools have it? I'm not sure.
They all have mulch.
They all have mulch. So what are we paying then? Then we know the answers.
$4 a square foot, that's.
Every year? Like
Yeah,
how?
every year, every 2 years, depending on, you know.
I think Mr. Spano, I mean, I asked a similar question because of the cost of the upkeep. And I think he said it's usually, it's an every 2-year expense, but it's not the full 20,000,
Right,
since a good
'cause
portion of
after
that
they-
is the actual border.
Yeah, they have to do that
And it's
whole
not like they're
border.
replacing the full $4 a square foot for the entire space, it's that they're adding more into it. But he felt that over I think if I remember correctly, I think
10 year.
He said over a 10-year
period
I
of
think
time.
he said a 10-year period.
Yeah, over a 10-year period of time, he said it would be approaching the 100,000, but it's not necessarily the cost. Right now, in order to sort of move forward with this, that their recommendation was the mulch. But I asked a very similar question because I was equally concerned about it.
He also said it would not preclude the future. Like, say in a few years, you know, we came up with funding or we figured out a way, we can always add it after.
Have we looked into, this is my last question, just because I looked into it for a different project, but the poured, not the rubber that looks like all different colors, but it's actually like almost applied like a paint. It's different layers of
This
rubber
is
that's
poured.
put over.
That's
The 105 is
exactly the
poured.
105,000. That's the
105.
poured rubber, yeah.
Gotcha.
That's
Thank
the
you.
ideal.
Yeah, yeah, I know that's
But it's
newer,
the most
but-
expensive, obviously. And I believe, if I remember correctly, there was like 1 or 2
Yeah,
companies in
there's
the
like no
entire
vendors
state
that even do
that
it.
basically does this, and they have pretty much a lock on it. But I am optimistic, at least on the other side, which is you're working closely with the town to see
Yeah,
whether or not
we're trying.
that there may be some additional funds that they may make available to us to help with doing the poured, because that's the ideal.
Yeah.
If we can.
And is part of Morrell owned by the town? The fields in the back?
No, they're ours.
They're all ours.
They're ours.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Lolansky or the committee? Thank you. The next report is Dr. Miskowitz, Curriculum Committee.
We did not have an opportunity to meet as a group, but we did get our questions answered by Mrs. Gross. The district has implemented and actively utilized the revised RTI manual, sharing with administrators, teachers, and parents, and using it to guide instruction, collaboration, and communication throughout the academic year. Ongoing monitoring and evaluation of RTI effectiveness occurred through regular check-ins, feedback sessions, and analysis of qualitative and quantitative data, including oversight by the Assistant Superintendent and Director of Special Services. As far as the library resources staff will receive training, and a unified communication plan will be developed and shared with the full board prior to distribution to parents. That's in regard to the last month's policy that was approved.
Thank you, Dr. Miskowitz.
So I would like to elaborate on that. Mrs. Gross actually had said that she was going to go more into detail. We didn't obviously have the meeting. So the library material question had come from myself. I would like to know, and I'll ask it today as well, so that you can reflect on it, Mr. Balone. We had set forth on using Destiny Quest to have cloud service to an inventory of our library. That was a very big part of the policy change for the library resources. I know we're approaching May, and I know that around end of August we get our parent forms to fill out on Genesis, and we had agreed that that would be part of the Genesis rollout. So I kind of was just looking for a status update as to where we are, how much of the library materials has already been indexed. Is this something that we're going to roll out all together? All schools are going to get it at the same time? And what's that kind of going to look like? And will parents have, is there anything being spoken about on the staff end of things that will provide training for both staff and then maybe a parent video so that parents know how to utilize that resource as we enter into the school year.
I would say all of the above have been discussed with the exception of the video. Good suggestion. I'll bring it back, and I'm sure we can do so. We've done something like that in the past, so we can have a tutorial. But yeah, we want to make sure we hit the ground running for September.
Yeah.
But we have to communicate it to the staff first before we go out to the parents.
Thank you.
Mr. Berlin, my understanding is also from the meetings that we've had in the past here that the library catalog is strictly for the resources that are in the media library room, not what may be in a teacher's library within their classroom.
That's
Is that
correct.
Okay.
So I just will tell you that I have deep dived into the software, and there is something on Destiny Quest that will allow teachers, and I understand that's not part of our policy at this time, so I'm not saying that, but if a teacher were to want to share with a parent, there is something that's readily available, no additional cost, that can allow teachers to create their own libraries within that software if they so choose.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Any other questions for the curriculum committee? Nope. Okay, thank you. Next is policy committee. Ms. Carrera.
So we had our 5th policy meeting on April 9th. And we met to discuss this, the new policy that's up for first read, but it's not necessarily new, and it's the 1552, sexual harassment for staff. It's really, so we had 2 separate ones, one for certificated staff, one for non, and so this kind of combined it together without much changes, but it reflected, it's updated with like state and federal guidance, and we added clarifying language. And also there's nepotism up for first read as well. And so for tonight's meeting, we made sure that we emailed the board. They were shared ahead of time in advance to allow for a thoughtful review. And an email went out to request feedback for this first read, so it could be adopted. Did I miss anything? Does anyone want to add anything? All right. Next is special ed.
Oh. The committee received an update from Mrs. Sturgio regarding several key initiatives within the Department of Special Services. Mrs. Sturgio continues to closely monitor the implementation and advancement of the district's updated RTI response to intervention process once it gets to her level. As a reminder, the RTI manual has been revised, and the assistant superintendent is overseeing fidelity and consistency across all buildings. An overview highlighting the impact of RTI on special services is in development and is expected to be presented to the board committees at the end of the school year. The department is actively reviewing current enrollment trends and projecting student needs for the 2026-27 school year. This includes ongoing analysis of district program capacity, anticipated incoming students, and alignment of staffing to ensure appropriate supports, class structures, and services are in place across all programs. Summer program dates were reviewed, and the department is planning to enhance student engagement by bringing in enrichment experiences on site. The district continues to explore the feasibility of implementing an on-site therapy dog. Research is underway regarding program structure, implementation requirements, and potential grant funding opportunities to support this initiative. The committee extends its appreciation to Mrs. Gandhi, Mrs. Jankowski, and Mrs. Sturgio for a comprehensive and informative update. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Dr. Niskowitz. Any questions for the Special Education Committee? Seeing none, thank you very much. And we will move on to our next item for the agenda, which is financial and business operations matters. Mr. Hyatt, would you read that?
Sure. Superintendent of Schools submits the following resolution for approval. Receipt and acceptance of board secretary report, treasurer report, 3 transfers. 4 listed bills, 5 travel, 6 harassment, intimidation, bullying report, 7 amended resolution ES-CNJ contract purchase, AME Incorporated Building Management Systems for maintenance-related services for 2025-26 school year, 8 amended resolution ESCNJ contract purchase, Spruce Industries for custodial supplies and related services for the 25-26 school year, 9 approval of the 26-27 school year non-public technology service agreement with Monmouth Ocean Educational Service Commission, 10 home instruction, 11 rejection of bids received for HVAC improvements for Asher Homes, Robertsville Schools, TMA project number 2518, and direction to rebid the project, 12 state contract purchases. I so move.
Thank you very much. Can I have a second, please? Mr. Wolonski. Any discussions on these items other than the ones that we've had so far?
I have a change.
You have a change?
A quick read-in. Number 10, under home instruction, the third box, it says the teacher's name is Christina Udelson. It's actually Shira Schaefer. It was Christina Udelson's class. So that teacher name is Shira Schaefer.
Okay, thank you.
S-H-I-R-A?
Correct.
Schaefer?
S-H-A-S-H-A-F-E-R. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussions regarding the items here in this particular item?
Yeah, I have a quick question. The 122,500 for the substitute teachers.
Which item, I'm sorry?
It's item 3 in transfers, last line. So it looks like we have a lot of contracted substitute positions. How is that? I'm totally don't know what this is all about. So these are in addition to our ESS substitutes?
This is ESS.
So why are they going to individual substitutes instead of just to ESS? Like, why doesn't it say ESS on here?
It says, well, contracted is ESS.
So all of these contracted.
Everything that's a 500.
So what is like Sal sub 30,000? Is that our own in-house subs?
Yes.
So it's a combination of
It's
ESS.
a combination of
and-
both.
So if it says salaried sub.
It's ours.
That's ours. If it says contracted sub, that's through ESS.
Exactly.
Okay, so all of these contracted subs are in addition to what we've paid ESS. We're allocating 122,500 more to one more salaried sub and then all these contracted subs.
This is, so ESS, we budget dollar amounts to ESS every year. And then what happens is, through the year, as the teachers go out on leave, or nurses or whoever goes out on leave, their salaries, their savings gets reallocated here. So we always budget a set dollar amount for contracted subs, but that number always increases throughout the year as other teachers go out. So that's why a lot of times I take the money from salaries and move it to ESS subs, because we have salary savings that pays for the subs.
And just so I know, and it's probably a conversation that'll have to be had in the future, or should have been had in the past. How is ESS working for us? Is it still beneficial financially to keep ESS instead of just in-house? I know a lot of districts around our area and more north are going back to just in-house substitutes. I mean, is ESS still benefiting us?
It still is. Our fill rates are higher. It's not something we wouldn't look at in the future, though. I mean, Mr. Balone and I talk about it all the time. So, it wouldn't be something we would be precluded from looking at.
Thank you.
I just have a quick question about one of the line items. Sorry.
Just which item?
Slightly above that, there's 21,581. A transfer from, is that salary BCBA, like a behavioralist? Was that the BC?
Yeah, it was some,
okay, so I'm looking at
savings there.
Okay, to a charter school, because it was an increase for charter school tuition. Is it typical that a charter school will increase their tuition like in the middle to the end of the school year?
It's more children going there. It's typical that that extra, other kids will pull out of our district and go into charter schools.
Okay, it wasn't that the charter school raised tuition.
The charter school did not increase their tuition.
Our cost went up.
Okay,
It's
because the kids, more kids went. Okay, that explains it. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that.
Yep.
It's a good point, and it's a good point for the clarity of the reason.
Yes, I agree.
A little bit different.
Yep, it should have been.
Right, okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other questions regarding these items? Seeing none, can I have another motion to accept this as amended? Mr. Smith? Second as amended. Mr. Hyatt? And now for a roll call. Go ahead.
I just have one more question. We had heard from a parent that came up about in-home instruction. If we go to executive and something changes, obviously I don't know if any of these are attributed to that student, but the parent had said they are not. Is that something that we can come back out and approve if we go in that direction, or whatever the situation would be, or would it have to wait until another meeting to be approved?
I think if we adjourn tonight and we say we may come back out for exec if there's action, then we should be fine, Mr. Gross, right?
Correct, but you probably wouldn't know who to assign to it.
So would that create a
Do you know what I
lapse?
mean?
Look, I guess the question, if you don't mind, I guess the question is, could we authorize?
Well, the authorization is for the teacher to do the
But I'm
home
saying,
instruction.
can we authorize with an understanding that the administration will complete the unknown information at that point in time?
So-
You may have more detail about who it is.
Yeah, so the way home instruction works, we can start home instruction and retroactively approve it. So we could start it essentially tomorrow and approve it at the next meeting.
So we can approve it on May 5th?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure we're not delaying anything, but if we can approve it and then approve the salary later
Yeah.
on, that's completely fine. Thank you.
Okay. That's helpful, thank you. Any other discussions? Seeing none, now I'm going to call for roll again.
Okay. Mrs. Carrera?
Yes to all. I'm going to abstain for myself from 4 and 5.
Okay. Thank you. Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes to all.
Mrs. Jankowski?
Yes.
Mr. Lalanski?
Yes.
Dr. Miskowitz?
Yes to all, and I'm abstaining from my name on number 4.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Belomo?
Yes to all, abstain from 7.
Thank you. And Mr. Cohen?
Yes to all, but I will abstain from my name under item number 5 for board members.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving along, we're up to personnel matters. Ms. Belomo, would you like to read that? Mrs. Belomo? Sorry, one second. Would you like to read personnel matters? Thank you.
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolution for approval. 1, retirements. 2, resignations. 3, employment instructional assistant. 4, employment bus drivers. 5, stipend mentor teacher. 6, substitute teacher. 7, paid medical disability leave. 8, unpaid leave of absence. 9, amended resolution leave dates. I so move.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please? Mr. Smith, is there any discussions on these items? Seeing no discussions, Ms. Jelinski, can you please call roll?
Yes. Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Mrs. Jankowski?
Yes.
Mr. Lalanski?
Yes.
Dr. Miskowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Belomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrero?
Yes.
And Mr. Cohen?
Yes. Before we move on to next items, Mr. Ballone, I believe you have some retirement comments.
I do. We are honoring 3 retirees this evening. The first one is for Amy Glassberg. After 30 years of teaching, and every single one of those years at Defino Central Elementary, Amy Glassberg is retiring with a heart full of gratitude. She will miss her amazing 5th grade team the most. Many of them have worked side by side for more than 20 years, and they have become more like family than colleagues. Mrs. Glassberg still can't quite put her finger on why they click so perfectly, but she is forever grateful for every day they shared. She will also miss the children and the way every new day held the possibility of surprise and delight. 30 years of working with students, and it never became boring or predictable. The best part of teaching has always been discovering how one small moment with a child could brighten their day. She looks forward to sleeping in, traveling, and spending more time with family, her dogs, and in the garden. We wish Mrs. Glassberg the very best as she begins this next chapter. Congratulations, Mrs. Glassberg. Next retirement comments are for Patricia Nowacki, otherwise known as Pat. Tonight, we have the true privilege and honor of recognizing not only a wonderful principal, but an extraordinary person, Mrs. Pat Nowacki. It is a special and meaningful moment to reflect on a career defined by dedication, leadership, and genuine care for others. This perfectly describes Mrs. Nowacki and her career in education. She began her career in Hamilton Township as a 5th grade elementary teacher. 2 years later, at Hamilton, she taught middle school math and then became the school counselor. In 1999, she came to Marlboro Middle School to serve as vice principal, a position she held for 6 years. Mrs. Nowacki then became the school's principal and began a successful tenure in that position for the last 20 years. For 26 years, she has devoted herself to the Marlboro Middle School community, serving with distinction as a vice principal and principal. In these roles, Mrs. Nowacki has been far more than a school administrator. She has been a steady presence, a source of constant guidance, and a highly effective leader for both students and staff. A great principal does more than manage a school. They build a culture among the students, the staff, and the community. Mrs. Nowacki created a place where students felt safe, supported, and inspired to learn, and where staff felt valued, respected, and empowered to do their best work. That did not happen by chance. Rather, it was the result of consistent and thoughtful leadership over many years that helped shape the lives of students, staff, and families. During those years, Mrs. Nowacki remained a fixture in Marlboro schools and a role model for everyone, always focused on what mattered most, the well-being and success of students and staff. Her ability to listen, to lead with empathy, and to make thoughtful decisions will leave a lasting imprint on the Marlboro community. It is difficult to imagine Marlboro without Mrs. Nowacki, as her presence has been so deeply woven into the fabric of the community. Through years of dedication and unwavering commitment, she has helped shape an environment grounded in excellence, compassion, and integrity. Mrs. Nowacki has instilled these principles in the students and staff of Marlboro Middle School. The legacy she has worked so hard to create and sustain will never fade with her absence. Rather, it will continue to inspire current and future administrators, staff, and students for years to come. As we congratulate Mrs. Nowacki on her retirement, we also celebrate the lasting impact of her years of service. We wish her all the best in retirement. It is certainly well-deserved. We know she will enjoy making countless memories with her daughter Amanda, her son Kyle, her daughter-in-law Glenda, her granddaughter Leighton Elise, her grandson, who is due in May, family, and friends. We thank Mrs. Nowacki for embodying what it means to be a great leader and wish her many more years of good health and happiness. Mrs. Nowacki, you were the vice principal, actually, when I was a student teacher at Marlboro Middle School, and she was here even before that. So this one is especially difficult for me, and I can't believe 22 years has gone so quickly. Congratulations, and we wish you the best.
Frank, real quick, I just want to add that, back in the day, I sat in the committee that hired Mrs. Nowacki, because board members sat on those committees 20 years ago. And I just want to add every word that you spoke, because I've been involved in that school for the last 20 years, and truer words are never spoken. She's been an amazing administrator, amazing as a parent of a student that went there, as a grandparent of a student that goes there now. Your words ring true. We're going to miss Mrs. Nowacki. I wish her the best, and we're so lucky to have her for the last over 20 years.
Can I add something as well? I've never really, obviously, my kids don't go to her school, but just being on the board and, speaking to parents, I've heard from other parents about how wonderful she is. So even, I just love the fact that our principals, our educators are here for such a long time, and I just want to say again that, you know, congratulations to her for her retirement. It's a big loss for us, but it's great to hear that everybody in the community and in the schools feel the same way about her and her leadership, and yeah, we're going to miss her, so.
Anyone else want to share? I will just real quick, both my kids went to that school, and she had both an impact on both of them, which was, you know, important. But I really never got to know her until I sat in the seat on the board and be able to sort of, you know, interact with Pat. And she's always been warm, welcoming, professional, highly respected. She will be missed. She, you know, big shoes to fill. I always believe that a public servant always wants to leave the place better than when they found it. And I think she's leaving Marlboro Middle School in tremendously great shape. And I did the math real quick. If there was an average of 900 students per school year over her 22 years, she has touched the lives of nearly 20,000 students over the course of time. Half our town's population, if you think about it. Pretty amazing. So thank you to her and to her years of service and for the lives she's touched. Yeah.
And the last retirement comments for Elizabeth Walsh. Liz is retiring from the district after 31 years of dedicated service. After joining the district in 1995 from the Department of Education, she has faithfully served as administrative assistant to the business administrator for 3 decades. Through 4 superintendents, 1 acting superintendent, 5 business administrators, 1 acting business administrator, her dedication, professionalism, and care never wavered. She built lasting relationships across the district and truly loved her work. She will also be remembered for her wonderful storytelling, sharing memorable moments and history from across the district that brought both laughter and perspective to those around her. Outside of the office, she enjoys traveling, especially taking cruises and spending cherished time with her children and grandchildren. Her presence, knowledge, and warmth will be greatly missed. We wish Liz much happiness, relaxation, and many new adventures in this well-deserved retirement. Congratulations, Liz.
Mr. Malone, I did the math. 87 years combined for the 3 of these people who are retiring. Pretty amazing dedication to our community. So thank you and congratulations to all of them. May their next journeys be amazing and, you know, rewarding and, you know, enjoyable. So thank you.
Can I just say one thing? I love that. I always say this, the whole adding stuff up. You know what would be really fun to do also? When we have our educators come up here and we honor them, combining their years, because I just found out that Mr. Hatter has been in the district for 22 years. That's incredible. So can you imagine if we start adding that up too? But yeah,
that length of service is a dedication to this district and to the community, because people stay because they feel that they're making a value. And that's where, you know, tells you a lot.
I just want to make a comment about Liz. When I filled my vacancy appointment, she was really the first face and first conversation I had with a district employee. As we all know, when you come to the board, there's a lot of paperwork. It can be very overwhelming. You want to make sure everything's done correctly. And she was my first experience with that. And she has such a kindness about her, such a great soul. Every conversation I had with her always ended up talking about other things because she's just so personable, and no matter what she goes through, she exudes joy. And I just think that's rare to find in a lot of people, and she has it. So I wish her the best of luck and health in her retirement because it's so well deserved. So I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge that her smile, her kindness really did have an impact on me, and what a great reflection of the school district she is.
What a very nice personal note. Thank you for sharing that.
Brian, I'm going to jump on what Carrie said as well, as because I had spent many times talking with Chris, walking into Vinny's office. Liz, walking into Vinny's office.
Now you talk to Chris walking into Vinny's office.
And even in the Cindy days, you know, we had many discussions, and we had a lot of fun talking about our cruises, because she loved the cruise, and I love the cruise. So I'm going to wish her well as well, and it was really nice to have a smiling face and that, you know, friendly, always friendly, couldn't do enough to help you attitude, which was amazing. So I wish her
Always
the best.
respectful. She really, she loved her job.
Mhm.
Like, she really loved working here, so.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for sharing those thoughts, and Mr. Malone for your comments as well. Moving along, I'm going to go to the last item on for vote tonight, which is the policy development and community relations matters. Ms. Gandhi, would you read that? It's page 18.
Policy development and community relations matters. 1, first readings. 2, abolished policies. I so move.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please? Mr. Hyatt? Discussions about the items on here? Anybody? Okay. Ms. Jankowski?
For the sexual harassment policy, where do board members fall under that? Does that fall under what was it? I forgot to bring my copy of it. Is it non-employees or non-certificated employees, or?
It's a good question, because I asked a similar question, and we're not employees.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, I know. I do not get a paycheck. I know that.
So, you know.
I get joy, but no paycheck.
These two policies, well, the new policy is strictly about staff, and it falls into two categories of, you know, sexual harassment that may occur to a staff member, whether certificated or non-certificated, right? And that could be harassment that occurs either from an employee or from a non-employee.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean the board is not in part of this policy, since we're not employees themselves. At least that's my understanding as
Okay.
how the policy is written, or how the policy was presented to us. Mr. Gross? He agrees.
That was different than what was said at Strauss Esme from their attorney.
This is the exact policy that came from Strauss Esme.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we had a follow-up conversation with the attorney from Strauss Esme, and he said that it would be under non-certificated staff members would cover employees. But you can reach out to him.
Okay. Is that your understanding, or will?
You are non-certificated
Right.
employees?
Yeah.
I don't think you're non-certificated.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions about this? Seeing none, we're ready for a roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Mrs. Jankowski?
Yes.
Mr. Lalansky?
Yes.
Dr. Miskowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Belomo?
Abstain.
Mrs. Carrero?
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
And Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we are up to liaison reports. We'll start with the first one, which is Freehold Regional High School District Liaisons. Mr. Hyatt?
Sure, just a quick update. They're having their public budget meeting on April 30th at 7:30 p.m. But just note that the meeting starts actually at 6:30, but they're going into executive for an hour, and they said they'll resume at 7:30. So if you want to attend the Freehold Regional District, it impacts us all. That's when they will have their budget discussion. So that's it.
April 30th, I think you said?
It's April 30th.
April 30th, 7:30 is the beginning of the...
The meeting starts at 6:30 p.m., but they're going to executive, so.
So 7:30.
7:30 is when they promised to resume the public meeting.
Thank you. Next is the Marlboro Education Foundation. Ms. Gandhi?
The Marlboro Education Foundation wants to thank all of the community members who came out last Monday night to support the MEF at the annual Harlem Wizards event. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to all of our sponsors. A big thank you to our referee, Captain Joseph Tomazik from the Marlboro PD. Thank you to all the wonderful MTPS admin and teachers who played in the game, including Mr. Balone. Thank you to all of our terrific volunteers who helped to make the night a great success, including some of the BOE members. Sue, myself, Chad, Jenna, we were there. Final numbers are still being calculated on how much profit we made. Stay tuned for our next upcoming event. Thank you.
Thank you. You look good out there, Mr. Balone. Not gonna lie.
Yep. He did a great job. You were magnificent, and his dancing is outstanding.
Right? He doesn't mean Cotton Eye Joe.
I didn't want to go that detailed, but good job.
How many points did you score?
I definitely had a foul shot, so that's 1. And I think I scored a 2-pointer, so 3.
Okay.
That was good.
That's good. Thank you for that. Marlboro Township Liaison, Mr. Lolansky.
Okay. Thank you for Steve and the township for explaining. Bulk pickup does not begin by zone until the end of April. The township reminds residents that bulk collection does not begin by zone to the end of April. No bulk may be curbside at this time. Placing bulk items in the street before scheduled collection day can create serious safety hazards for everyone in the community, including pedestrians, children that play in vehicles. Items may be brought to the recycling center with a free online permit during open hours. Township appreciates your cooperation. The Big Rig Rally, Saturday, May 2nd from noon to 2:30. 2 to 2:30 is quiet time. A hands-on experience with the big trucks, free, there's no registration required. Mother's Day Farmers Market, Saturday, May 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Crafts, candy, pastries, flowers, and food. Everything to spoil mom. The event will be held inside the Recreation Center. Township is holding a Marlboro 250 essay contest. The township is calling on all middle and high school students to submit their papers by May 24th. Students are encouraged to draw on a variety of sources such as local archives, historical documents, and community perspectives to support their respective ideas. Submissions should demonstrate thoughtful analysis, clear connections between past and present, and an understanding of what America's 250th anniversary represents to Marlboro Township. Submissions should be between 2 to 10 pages. All essays can be submitted via email to sdalina@marlboro-nj.gov. More information on this contest and other Marlboro 250 events are on the Township website under the Historic Commission section. Last weekend in Old Monmouth, the annual Monmouth County tradition continues. From Revolutionary War landmarks to hidden gems, Monmouth County's rich history comes alive during the weekend in Old Monmouth. Free admission to visit over 50 historic sites and museums. Marlboro will be participating. Please visit the Old Brick Reformed Church, 490 Route 520 on Saturday, May 2nd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, May 3rd from noon to 5 p.m. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Lolansky.
I have a question about that. Sorry, what he said.
Go ahead. I'll ask afterwards. Go ahead.
For the essay contest, I know the town is obviously promoting it, but do you think something will go out from the school, just for the middle school, just so that they know? Because I feel like if teachers, or if they're kind of spoken to directly, that may encourage them to want to submit.
Yes, we did send something out to the families.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I got that like last week.
And I love the Big Rig Rally. It's so much fun. My kids love it. So, yep.
The Big Rig Rally was my whole life for 45 years.
Mr. Lolansky, I may have missed it, but you said, I think you mentioned that there was a Mother's Day Farmers Market. Is that, you said indoors? Is that indoors?
That's indoors at the rec center.
Okay, so it will be indoors at the rec center. I wasn't sure if I missed that. Thank you.
Yep, indoors.
And then I was just curious. I understand Lynn Franco retired. So who gets our?
Stephen Dalina.
Okay.
He's my contact now.
Okay, great. I was just curious because I wasn't sure how it changed, but thank you. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Lolansky? Thank you. Monmouth County School Board Association, Ms. Carrero?
No update to share.
Thank you. New Jersey School Board Association liaison, Ms. Paloma.
The New Jersey School Board Association will be having their Tech Summit on May 8th. It's virtual. It has a lot of good topics. You can go over Robert's rules and a couple other things. Civility. There's about 15 topics listed there. So that is all that's come out. They released a theme for the workshop. I saw a couple people had registered. I know, Chris, that's a group registration, correct? So when we know if we want to go, it's kind of just all grouped in together. Perfect. And that's all I have from school
Yeah, just let
boards.
us know if anyone decides, and we'll put you on the agenda.
Perfect, thank you.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Bellomo? Thank you. And now we are up to scope. Dr. Miskowitz?
No report.
Thank you. And we are up to CPAG. Ms. Jankowski.
Thank you, Robin and Angie. CPAG will be hosting a virtual webinar in May with the Special Education Ombudsman. CPAG is pleased to invite families and district staff to a special virtual evening featuring Tracy Gillespie, New Jersey Special Education Ombudsman. This timely and informative session is designed for anyone who supports students with disabilities, parents and caregivers, general and special education teachers, related service providers, and school administrators, and aims to strengthen shared understanding, collaboration, and effective problem solving in special education. Ms. Gillespie will address critical topics that impact both families and school teams, including what free appropriate public education, or FAPE, truly means in practice, parental rights and shared responsibilities under special education law, constructive ways to prevent, address, and resolve disagreements, proactive collaborative strategies such as facilitated IEP meetings, local resolution approaches that support effective communication, trust, and early problem solving. This session is designed to foster collaboration, enhance mutual understanding, and support positive outcomes for students by helping families and districts work together more effectively. Whether you are a parent seeking clarity and advocacy tools or a district leader committed to partnership and compliance, this evening will offer valuable insights and practical guidance. CPAG will also be hosting a virtual IEP webinar the evening of Thursday, May 28th. The presentation will focus on general IEP understanding, how to use school data, writing good goals, and parental concerns and rights. More information will be sent via email from Special Services and posted to the CPAG Facebook page closer to the date of the webinar. Please stay tuned for CPAG's last meeting of the school year. Information will be sent via email from Special Services and posted to the CPAG Facebook page when the date is scheduled. If you need additional resources and advice from other parents and guardians, please check CPAG's website and Facebook pages, as there is a lot of information on both.
Thank you, Ms. Jankowski. Any questions for our report on CPAG? Thank you. We are up to old business. Anybody for old business? Thank you. We're up to new business. Anyone for new business? Okay. We are up to the second round of public comments.
Valentina Mendez.
Good evening. I do support, obviously, and I know you all do, the adoption of a sexual harassment policy for staff. It is required and it is necessary. After reviewing the policy, though, I do have a serious concern about accountability, consistency, and follow-through. The policy is clear. It states that the district must take all steps necessary to prevent harassment. It requires a grievance process to be initiated immediately upon receipt of a complaint. It even defines harassment as a conduct that is severe, pervasive, and objectively offensive, and it explicitly includes conduct that occurs electronically or on online platforms. They're not just policy choices, they reflect actual established law. Under New Jersey law against discrimination, NJSA 10.5-12, sexual harassment is recognized as a form of unlawful discrimination, and board members are not exempt from standards of conduct. Under NJSA 18A-1224, board members are required to uphold public trust and act with integrity in their roles. Those are strong standards, but that policy applies to staff. They do not apply to this board, and that's not a gap, it's actually a pattern. I previously brought forward a civility resolution focused on safety, respect, and accountability. It was discussed, it was acknowledged as important, and then nothing happened. At this point, it feels like it was treated as optional, or even worse, as a joke. There was also a proposal raised by Mrs. Annette Seward to require sexual harassment training for board members, just as it's required for staff. We were told at the time that no appropriate training could be found, and again, nothing happened, but you could have that scheduled for a future date. So now here we are, adopting standards which matter for employees while continuing to operate as a board without clearly defined standards for yourselves. That's inconsistent and undermines your credibility. Board members should not only be held to these standards, they should also be protected by them. No one serving in a public role should be subjected to sexual harassment, including members of this board. We have already seen situations in this community involving conduct in electronic communications, including comments of a sexual nature about a board member's body, which many would reasonably view as inappropriate and offensive. Yet there is still no policy governing board members, no defined expectations, no clear process, and zero accountability. If you're serious about respect, professionalism, and safety in this district, those expectations must start at the top and they must apply equally. So tonight, I am not just raising a concern, but I am offering you a solution. I have drafted some notes. It is not my job, obviously, to write your policy. That is where you all come in. But I do have some notes, and I genuinely hope that you take it seriously. So I know I'm at time in about a couple of seconds. I'll ask for an additional few seconds after, but I did give a couple of notes here that I can email, but I did make copies for anybody who is interested, and I have them here. But it does cover what sexual harassment could be considered based on the policy you have there, the scope of conduct, what reporting would look like to the board president, the vice president, the superintendent, and the board council. I do have about review and response timing. I do have some interim measures and some real consequences for board members, which could include formal censure, removal from board leadership positions, such as president, vice president, and committee roles, referral to appropriate authorities if applicable, and any other action permitted by New Jersey law. I do have a commitment to accountability and any sort of legal alignment. So I do have notes here. I do hope that you take this seriously. You said you did, and nothing happened. So here we are today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mendez. I appreciate your notes. I will accept them. Anyone else would like to speak? Ms. Bornstein.
Hi, good evening. Robin Bornstein from Marlboro. I'm going to wear a few hats up here, but hopefully I'll make it quick. Throwing on my CPAG hat for a moment, I just wanted to go ahead and recognize Mrs. Nowacki for a lot of inclusion that she did. She worked with us a lot on like the band and musicals that were done, and offered the ability for students that might find it hard to be in attendance at the events to still be able to go and see the performance. It was typically done during the rehearsals, or to see any of the band or the chorus when they couldn't actually go to the performance because it might just be too much for them, but to offer during their rehearsals to be able to attend. It was a wonderful opportunity for the students to be able to go and still sort of be a part of what was going on in the school that they attended. So we definitely look forward to being able to continue those exclusive events with whoever happens to fill her shoes. They're big shoes, but whoever happens to fill them. Now I'll switch my hat, and just wanted to also recognize Mrs. Walsh. I worked with her a decent amount as the secretary for the PTO. And I know in the beginning when I took the role a number of years ago, I had a never-ending supply of questions, and she was always willing to answer any questions that I had. It was always with a smile, always upbeat, always happy, and whatnot. She was a pleasure to speak with on the phone, through email, or anything. And she's definitely going to be missed. Again, another set of big shoes to fill, so whoever happens to fill those shoes, we look forward to, hopefully being able to work with them as well. We're going to miss both of them, but do really wish both Mrs. Nowacki and Mrs. Walsh very well in their retirement. They definitely do deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bornstein. Anyone else want to speak? Seeing that, motion to close public comments. Ms. Guerrero, second. Ms. Gandhi, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. Ms. Mendez, I just wanted to point out, and you may have missed it, but There were several reports out that I did make on the sexual harassment motion that Ms. Seward made back in November of last year, all right? We are being trained as a board on May 5th by NJ CASA, all right? And I did provide several different, reports out on that. And in fact, at the last meeting, which is not the March 24th meeting where I wasn't at, but the meeting prior to that, I even shared the scope of the training. So I'm thankful for the recommendation. I just wanted to make sure you were aware, and that training is actually occurring next meeting at 6 p.m., an hour earlier, so that we can accommodate the regular board meeting and parents who would like to arrive here for the 7 o'clock meeting start, because they do come with their kids for the impact part. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware. Thank you. Seeing that there's no other items on our agenda tonight.
I have some responses to public comment.
Yes.
I didn't want to steal Mrs. Bornstein's thunder, so I didn't chime in for Mrs. Walsh's retirement comments. But working on the Dugan PTO, Mrs. Walsh was a very special person to us with our building use forms and last minute please just try to get it done this week because we really want to have our events. She was always very accommodating. Robin worked with her directly. I was more indirectly. But I know on behalf of a lot of the parent organizations and people that worked with her on a weekly basis, a daily basis, she's going to be very, very missed, both to see her and just to interact with her. So with that being said, I also wanted to address Valentina. I wanted to thank you for your advocacy for just women in general. The great thing about Title IX under our new federal administration is it doesn't know any boundaries. Women have protections against sexual harassment with or without policies or without knowing the boundaries of a boardroom or a classroom. And your advocacy and just bringing that to light, I hear you up here saying, it's treated as a joke. It's not a joke. Someone who went through it, it impacts me very much, just even sitting here today. So I thank you for coming out and continuing to speak up on behalf of, the students, the staff, the board members, and everybody who has to work in an environment where that may, God forbid, someday be a reality for them. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Any other comments? Last item on our agenda is the executive session. We have a motion to move into executive session for 3 particular items. One is a matter of attorney-client privilege, one is for personnel matters, and the third is for negotiations. We expect it'll take about 60 minutes. We don't anticipate coming back out for any public action. And according to, as the issue was raised regarding the home instruction, since we do not have to come back out to take that, it can be done retroactively. We will adjourn in exec for the night. So can I have a motion, please, to adjourn to exec? Ms.
I make a
Jankowski.
motion.
Can I have a second to it? Dr. Miskowitz, will you second? Dr. Miskowitz? Will you second? Yes. Dr. Miskowitz seconds. All in favor? Anyone opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you to exec.